Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold, just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold, just let me be blunt. My speech in the morning, nothing but grunts. With no coffee, that's as dangerous. On a scale from 1 to 10, I rank it that girl from Stranger Things. And if you get what I'm saying, my attitude be mad flagrant like I'm Draymond. But you ain't get the picture, BFP. So I'm gonna keep pushing on you, GNC. It's like, yeah, the first thing on my mind is when that hot coffee gonna seep into the coffee grind. It's like some magic's floating on in the air. Toss some ice cubes in my cup, it's a good day. All I gotta say is that it's starting in a good way. It's time for working and I don't even care. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold, just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold, start fresh, that's how it's gotta be. Everything starts back with your coffee beans. If it's cold brew, then it's gotta be coarse. Don't get the cart ahead of the horse, start learning the course. But of course you can disregard, and don't at me if it gets too hard. When it's my time to drink, man, it's always on hand. Drink from a cup or a bottle, even a can. You never know when you're craving no hit. It could be in the bathroom while you're taking a with flair, I'll say he ain't got nothing on it. When that coffee hits my lips, it's a seance. Feeling real super with the cape on. Anything I'll take on. This cup of coffee, yeah, boy, this is the shit. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold, just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold, verse, so I guess that's where I talk about how we might be addicted in a roundabout kind of way, or how you say, a dependency that's in my life, and I'm proud to say it's filling me with way more energy than I'll ever need, keeping me up for things I thought I'd never see. Time's gonna kill us all one day, whether old age illness or from listening to Coldplay. F that noise, rubber love, drink all the coffee, chug a lug. The day doesn't start till you're on your second cup. If they talk before then, homies better talk. It's 100% okay to...
Good morning, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world, and welcome to the morning's dream here on the Den of Nerds Live. The very best way to start your nerdy day. On today's show, Chet, that must be the wrong thumbnail. That must be the wrong thumbnail. That can't be the right. We can't. I didn't really want to talk about this. Now we have to. All right. On today's show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about my rewatch of Joker. Yes, indeed, I watched the movie again, and I've changed my mind. I know. Revolutionary idea. People can change their mind about movies that they saw when they watch them again under different circumstances. Okay, this is going to be really interesting. I'm pumped to get into this. There's actually something I want to show you guys as well. HBO Max is actually hiding the Joker. I'm not lying. We're gonna go into the theater. I'm gonna show you guys how all of that is happening. It's very, very interesting. But let's say good morning. Let's say good morning to the peeps. Let us say good morning. We got Maverick Pilgrim in here. Hector's in here. Mike Porter. Captain Pennsylvania. Flatbrush Zombie. Bill M. Good morning, Bill. Stormbreaker. Alan. Moonlid Trev. Stormbreaker. I said it twice. Marble Maniac. Audio. Trevor. Sam Shills. Melfred. Cade. Chris. Tara. Jason. Fanjecture Adams here. Man, Adam had a terrible take this morning, I'll tell you that. Matt's here, Jacob's Quest, Gray, Trinity, First Step Too Far, Dick Kwan, The Spider-Man Show. Oh, my goodness, bunch of beautiful people in the house. How are you guys doing? I watched Taxi Driver. Does that count as watching Joker? Pretty much. It pretty much counts. So you think is more of a fake Joker now? Oh, we're gonna get into all of it. We're gonna get into all of it, guys. Before we get too deep on all of that, let me just say a couple of different things. Okay, let's get some show notes out of the way. Okay, early in the week, let's get some show notes out of the way. This Wednesday, the second round of the Nerd Card Showdown is going down. We have the Fantastic Four versus the Ultimate Nullifiers. This is going to be a great contest. You are definitely going to want to check that out. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. Also, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are doing a community stream. I'm actually not 100% sure what we want to do for a community stream tonight. I'm kind of leaning towards talking about like Thrawn and Ezra and some of these characters and the possibility of fan casting them a little bit, but also just speculating about the future of Star Wars. So I feel like that could be a good community stream. So I'm open to some suggestions there, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Okay. All right, guys, hang on. Chet, pause that music. Pause that music. Okay. Let's go into the theater. Everybody get ready. We got to go into the theater. This is pretty crazy, okay? Are you ready? Come on in. Trickle in, ladies and gentlemen. Trickle on in. Last community stream until September, so would love to talk some Ezra and Thrawn. Oh, yeah, I just realized. I was like, well, we're doing more. But, yeah, you had said you won't be able to make any more of them. Well, let's talk Ezra and Thrawn then. The kid from Extract needs to be Ezra. Look, let's talk about that tonight. Let's do that tonight. We'll do that tonight, guys, okay? Now, look, this is such an interesting thing. I really did want to get into this and talk about this. And it's just crazy. There's a lot of angles here. It is multi-layered and reflects a lot of what's going on in the real world. So I think it's pretty wild to talk about. But I noticed this on, I believe it was Friday night, okay? I noticed this because there was, for some reason, I just wanted to watch Joker again. You know, just for full context, I only saw Joker once. I saw it in theaters. I saw it in theaters in Philadelphia, and I'll tell you more about that story in just a little bit because it contextually, I believe, changed the way I saw the movie. But we're going to get into that, okay? So Friday, I was thinking, I really want to watch Joker, and I go to HBO Max. I've been really enjoying HBO Max, been watching a ton of the Studio Ghibli stuff. There's also, like, crazy old-school stuff on there, like, I think it's like the Touchstone Cinematic Collection or whatever, but there's like North by Northwest and some old Hitchcock stuff on there. It's awesome, okay? So I had been on HBO Max a good bit, and I had noticed Joker on the featured movies. I had noticed it on the DC page. It was pretty much everywhere. This is a $1 billion movie, okay? A $1 billion movie. Obviously, they're going to have this movie all over the place. But here, let me show you guys something really interesting here. If you go down, first of all, it's nowhere to be found here on the features page, okay? When you go down here to featured movies, it is not here on the featured movies, okay? And you might say, okay, that's really not that weird. When you go to the DC page, it's not at the top here, okay? It's not in Epic Origin Stories. It's not even in Gotham's Joker subset grouping. Okay, and so at this point, I was like, that's pretty weird. So the next thing I went to do is I checked out search. So when you put in J, nothing really happens. On the Xbox, something does happen when you put in J. But check this out. When you put in J and O, it should auto-populate, and this could be an error in their UI for this, but it should auto-populate what has J-O in the title? Well, if you look down here, there it is. It's like 5 rows down. It isn't until you put J-O-K in that you actually see the Joker or Joker movie pop up. Now, the reason this is interesting to me, is because I think that's a branding / censorship decision. Okay? So, and we sort of talked about this over the weekend. I was briefly like texting with people and checking things out. It would appear that Joker is playing a lot on the HBO cable network, and it would also appear that on HBO Go, it's like there on the front page. Okay? So it would seem like anything that's specifically for people that already know what HBO is, they're not really afraid of putting it out there. But for their new streaming service, which is getting all the attention right now, all of the eyeballs, all of the headlines, it appears to me that AT&T and HBO are hiding Joker. You know? I was like, that's really weird. So anyways, let's get back into the chatting setting here. Let's go back out. Let's step out of the theater, ladies and gentlemen. So now let me tell you a little bit about my rewatch of the Joker. And honestly, this is just crazy. I want to just get into a lot of Q&A here and talk to you guys about the whole situation. Okay? So, when I first saw Joker, and I want you guys to think back to when you saw Joker, right? Like think back to when you saw Joker. Let's just get a count. I want to know. Let me know in the chat. Did you guys see Joker in theaters? Yes or no? Let me know in chat. It made $1 billion. A lot of people saw it in theaters. Did you see it in theaters? Let me know in chat. Tara says yes. Grace says no. A lot of yeses, a lot of yeses, a lot of yeses. Yep. Okay. All right. Whoa, yeah, a lot of people. Some people did not, but a lot of people said yes. Okay, cool. So here's the point. Let me just explain this to you. And I just want to be just completely real with you guys about this. I think most people, even professional reviewers, when they see a movie, there's sort of an initial take that they have, a sort of an initial reaction to it, and then their take can change with time. It happens all the time. And I've seen Jeremy Jahns talk a lot about this. He's like an actual film critic. I believe he's a Rotten Tomatoes critic at this point. And so you can see movies and then your opinions can change over time. Now, look, we're not talking about Star Wars today, but I think it's important to sort of draw this comparison in. I like The Rise of Skywalker a lot less now than I did when I initially saw it in theaters. Now, I'm not saying that I don't like the movie. I do like the movie. I'm a big-time Palpatine fanboy. I like the movie. There's a lot of stuff that I think they do right in that film. But when I initially saw it, I was giving it all these raved reviews. I saw it with a lot of normies, and the normies loved it, and it created this sort of positive feedback loop. I like the movie, but I say all of that to tell you that months and months later down the line, I'm sitting watching Rise of Skywalker, and I'm like, okay, wow, there's a lot of holes. There's a lot wrong with this film. Okay? So I think it's a completely natural thing to change your opinion of movies sort of as you watch them, as you grow. You see different things when you watch them the second time and things like that. Okay? Now, when I saw Joker, you will remember that there was a lot of tension and a lot of sort of smearing of the media, a lot of, I guess, unrest is the best way I could say it. The idea was that people thought Joker was going to lead to riots, was going to lead to violence, was going to lead to crazy stuff like that, okay? And you can say, obviously a lot of that's crap, a lot of that's crazy, it's way overblown. When I saw that movie in theaters, there was a SWAT team at the theater. Okay? They're just hanging out. And I'm sure you had a similar experience. In fact, I'd like to know in chat, guys, let me know. If you were one of the people that saw Joker in theaters, were there police officers at your theater? Yes or no? Let me know. Let's pause here. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of no's. Steve says yes. No cops. Not even one. No, but I live in Canada. Nope. No cops at the theaters. Nay. Mike Porter says yes. Yes, I live in Chicago, so it's a must. No police presence. Major city. Biggest theater. Interesting. Let's see here. I saw the biggest theater in Miami, and there were no cops. Interesting. No cops. That's really interesting to me, guys. Now, look, I was in the city of Philadelphia, but I still felt like it was super weird. It was super weird that there were cops. Like, treating the thing. So, basically, what I'm telling you guys is, as I went in to see this movie, there's sort of this added tension because there's all of these cops at the theater. Now, not only were there cops at the theater, I'm not kidding you guys. Like, I have friends that can confirm this that went to this showing with me. It was like, I think it was like either halfway through the movie or 2/3 of the way through the movie. It was either a cop or a security guard started walking around the theater with like a small light, just kind of looking around in the theater. I'm not kidding you. I'm being 100% real. We're sitting there watching the movie, and it's like 2/3 of the way through, and there was some kind of authority figure that was walking around the theater checking people out. And the thing that's crazy is, as I think back to it, I actually wasn't paranoid until I saw that motherfucker. Like, I was fine until I saw that guy walking around. And maybe this person had the intent. Maybe that person had the intent of just making sure everything was cool, just double check and make everything. Dude, that dude made me way more paranoid than I think I had to be when I'm sitting there in the theater. Because I'm thinking, like, who's this guy? And I think one of the reasons this happened was there was, what was it? It was for one of the Batman movies a long time ago. There was a shooting in a theater. It was like in the Midwest somewhere, and there was that guy that was supposedly dressed up as the Joker, right? And yeah, so I say all of that to tell you that my experience with the Joker the first way through, look, it's an uncomfortable movie. Okay, it's an uncomfortable movie. Like, it makes you feel really weird and gross. And the fact was, for me, my experience when I watched the film, actually with the police presence and with that dude walking around the theater with the light or whatever, it made me more paranoid. It made me feel even more gross about it. Now, when it comes to the film itself, I still tried to judge the film based on the merit of the film. And I still feel the way that I feel about how there's a lot of sloppiness to this movie and to this character. I don't think Joker actually makes a moral statement at all. It just shows you the ugliness of society, of the world, of mental illness, and all of these different things. It just shows you the ugly. I don't think there's really a prevailing message of morality there. And Joker in a world without Batman bothers me. Okay, as a comic fan, it bothers me. You are wrong. One of my other moderators, get Tara out of here. And she's probably not even talking about me. So I still feel the way that I feel about the movie, but I can't help but think that my experiences leading up to the film and watching the film had a large to do with the way that I viewed the movie. I guess what I'm saying to you is the uncomfortability of the movie was highlighted for me in a way that it probably should not have been. Now, here's the other side of this that's really interesting to me. I think back to the time of the Joker, and I think so fondly of that time. Okay? Like, we're headed towards Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, we're in the height of the, good media's coming out. The channel's doing really, really well. Like, we're making money. We're loving all this cool nerdy shit that's coming out. I think I had just come back from New York Comic-Con. Or maybe I saw Joker and then went to Comic-Con, I believe is what it was. Yeah. So I saw Joker that Thursday night, and then I went to New York Comic-Con, I believe is what it was. And New York Comic-Con was an incredible experience, okay? But I say all of that to tell you that watching Joker as a dude who was doing pretty well, the world was in a pretty good spot, you know what I mean, in my opinion, comparatively, certainly so. And then I watched Joker. And I'm like, that fucking movie, it made me feel so uncomfortable that when I told you guys that Joker would not make over $500 million, it's because I couldn't conceive of enough people going out to watch that movie, feeling really gross, and then being like, you know what I want to do? Spend $15 to have that feeling again. Sign me up for another round. My feeling at the time was, there's no way that people are going to sign up for that. There's no way that enough people are going to be like, I'll take feeling real shitty and confused about life and the turmoil of others for $500. There's no way. Okay? No way. But I will tell you guys this. Upon rewatching Joker in the context of 2020, I'm talking about economic shutdown, economic turmoil, a literal virus that is, being spread around. Still a thing, by the way. Protests, rallies, riots, social inequality, uprooted conversations. When you watch Joker now, and by the way, I am recommending that if you haven't watched Joker maybe since last year, I am literally recommending to go watch that movie again in the context of today. The beginning, there's a beginning scene, and they're literally, I think it's called the typhoid fever is what they call it in the film. So there's a fever that's spreading around. Everybody's losing their jobs. The economic hardship's real. And I believe the first line of the film that Joaquin Phoenix actually says is like, I believe he says, is it just me or is it getting crazier out there? And I had such a weird, eerie feeling watching that movie now in the context of what's going on in the world. As the kids say, that shit hit different. That shit hit different. Totally different experience than I had the first time. And as I watched the movie, I was really captivated and I felt way more safe, which is ironic. And I'm not trying to make a political statement with this at all, but it is ironic that I felt safer at home than I felt in a theater with a bunch of cops around. That's not a political statement. It's just facts, right? So, different vibe. And also the context of everything that's going on in the world, like, it literally just made that shit hit different, And as you're watching that movie, as you're watching Arthur, I think the thing that's really interesting here, and again, this is another aspect that maybe I didn't properly explain, is that I was able to let it go a lot more. Like the whole idea of Joker and Batman and comics and all of that. Like that's not Joker from comics, like at all. That's not Bruce Wayne from the comics. You're not telling that same story. It is a version, an Elseworld, a different take on that. And I was able to let that go a lot more. You know, in the same way that like when I watch Captain Marvel the second, third, fourth time, I've seen it 4 times. I was able to let it go, like the good guy scroll thing. I was able to let that go a lot easier. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes we have to like let go of our expectations to sort of allow us to view a thing for what it is. And as I'm watching this movie, dude, I'm like captivated by the cinematic brilliance of it. I think it's brilliantly shot. You know, I really do. I think it's brilliantly shot. I think that Joaquin's performance is all-time great. Like, all-time great. I think the thing is, man, the movie's really uncomfortable and scary because it just, you really feel like his mental illness. You can see that he's not necessarily a bad guy. Like, one of the things that I found interesting is as I watched it again, I was like, wow, he has a lot of really positive experiences with young people. And there are some people that treat him with kindness, and it's reciprocated. So, you know, you have this guy, and it's just really interesting to watch this journey that he goes on. And he's clearly not well. You know what I mean? He's clearly not well. And man, I got to tell you guys, like, in the context of what is currently going on, watching that movie is a very weird, but I think I would borderline say important movie to watch. I don't even think that Todd Phillips or Joaquin Phoenix, I don't think they're actually trying to make a message. I don't really think they're trying to really send a point other than to just explain that we have a society. We have this society, and then we have all of these people that are sort of downtrodden. And this dude has this, like, literal just hang up in his brain. And you got to remember, too, that the thing that sets the whole thing off is a state budget or a budget of some kind changing. And so that he can no longer get the care that he needs, and he can no longer get the medicine that he needs. It's like you have to understand that that's the thing that sets it all off. You know what I mean? We're not in the universe of the film, and to a large degree in the universe that we live in, we are not taking care of people that are disadvantaged, mostly not due to any of their own actions. You know what I mean? So, damn, I got to tell you, I'm not saying I did a complete 180 because I still think that, like, the movie ultimately, if Joker wasn't crazy, like Todd Phillips is really, I don't know if it's genius or just he got lucky, but like the way the movie goes is you can, like, all of its inconsistencies and all of the things that are kind of whack about it can kind of be swept under the rug because you're like, well, was that even real? Was he even in that moment? You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, I've changed my mind, man. Joker, while still overrated, is not a bad movie. It's a good movie. It is a good movie. I enjoyed it. Can't wait for Josh to become a Battinson fanboy. I don't think that's happening. Hey, look, as I've said since the very beginning, if the movie comes out and it's dope, I'll admit that the movie was dope. But I'm just looking at the evidence, guys. I'm just looking at the evidence, and this is just I am not feeling it, dude. I am not feeling it. And this Batmobile, oh my god! Like the fact that I find it hilarious that I even have to comment on the Batmobile thing. You know what I mean? Like I watched Adam do his live stream this morning, and he's taken the ugliest fucking Batmobile you've ever seen, and he's giving it the Instagram model treatment, hitting it from all the angles. He's got that stupid circle light thing on there, so it's like eyeballs are all glowing and all this stuff like that. And he's shooting this thing like an Instagram model, and he's like, see, no, I don't see. That Batmobile looks like ass. And you know what else, Adam? You know what else? You know, you had mentioned that you think there's something going on the hood. You know, something like that hood. It's got some kind of thing over there. You got some sort of revolving kind of thing going on. Maybe a tank thing or whatever. I think I discovered what that is. I think that it's going to be a movie projector. And it's actually going to project an actual Batman movie, a better Batman movie. So maybe what Matt Reeves is doing is really interesting. Maybe he's actually setting us up to be really upset about, well, I mean, you know, all the people that actually have good takes and opinions and actually know what they're talking about. You know, they'll be like very skeptical about what happens. And then skinny ass hockey pad Punisher Batman will pull up. And his stupid car, I've literally seen better cars in actual derbies where they're actually destroying each other in cars. Literally seen better work on those. He'll pull up in that horrible car, and then a movie projector will pop out of his hood and will project an actual good Batman and an actual good Batman movie. Hey, look, if he pulls that off, it would be one of the greatest, sleight of hand moves in the history of cinema. And you know what else? If they really want to do it right, it'll be Ben Affleck as Batman on the projected screen that he pulls out. So, look, guys, you know, I'm clearly never wrong. You know, clearly never changed my mind about things, so we should be good. 8-track school bus races. Pattinson looks better than the Eternals? Oh, you watch your damn mouth. You watch your damn mouth, June. Now let's get to Hercules. Yeah, we can talk about Hercules. Show down the road. I rewatched the Batman. I changed my mind, okay? Phew. See, this is why I didn't want to do this, Chet. That's why I didn't want to do this, you know? You show him one kink in the armor. You show him one crack, okay? And now everybody's trying to tell me about my opinions. What do you guys think? You want to just get into Q&A? I think we should just get into Q&A. I'm interested in if you guys had any questions about my experience with Joker and all that. Godfather says Josh is human. Nope. Superhuman. Hey guys, late today. How is everyone? Doing good, man. How are you? Buy a Dodge Charger, and he's all like, that Batmobile isn't so bad. So Hercules is gay in the Marvel universe. I don't know. I mean, that's sort of a theory out there. Yeah, 35 likes is way too low, guys. If we can't get that up to 50 in the next 5 minutes, we're just going to call it early. And that's okay because I've got a lot to do, so we can just call it early. No big deal. No big deal. What were we talking about? Oh, Hercules. Is Hercules gay? So here's the deal. Like, he's probably bi. Like, I know this is one of those things that, like, maybe people don't want to talk about or whatever, but, like, in the times of the Greeks, things were a little different. You know what I mean? Things were a little different in the time of the Greeks. And from what I understand, I think Hercules has been depicted as bi in comics for a long, long time. For a long, long time. Daquan with the super chat. Thanks, my friend. Can you see Hercules in Eternals or Thor 4? Well, the current rumor, and actually, if you go to thedenofnerds.com, one of the only articles that we currently have posted on there, because I'm super behind and haven't actually had the time to get that website fully operational, but one of the only articles that's on there is written by a fellow named Stormbreaker, and he's talking about all these different characters that could be in the movie. And in that article, he talks about the evidence for Hercules being in Eternals. And yeah, I think it's pretty safe bet to say he'll probably be in Eternals. Oh yes, Greeks had hella parties, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, Lavis. Oh yeah. And it's funny, like, you don't have to look too hard to figure that stuff out. Like, you just look at the artwork. Like, they had some ragers. They had some ragers. And you know what else? Like, we don't have to necessarily go down this rabbit hole, but you know, one of the most unspoken things about the Spartans is that the Spartan culture was super gay. Like, super gay. You know? Like, they would actually dress the women up in armor. Like, when it was time to, like, procreate and have kids and everything like that, they would actually dress women up like they were men. You know? Question. When you come up with your terrible takes, do you think them through, or are they off the cuff? Oh, man. Okay, so, first of all, let me correct that for you. Let me just correct that statement. I mean, I know I have typos as well. So I'll reread your question, Adam, and help you out a little bit. When you come up with your legendary, never wrong, always awesome takes, do you think them through, or are they off the cuff? Well, you know what's funny about that is, so when I speak off the cuff, it actually is thought through. So I know it probably doesn't make sense, but it's like, I don't have to think to have thought about it a lot. Think about it. You know? As one of the streamers that I really look up to says, all the way up the mountain and only halfway there. Think about it. Think about it. Yeah, Spartans, gray and short but brutal, even trained to diss people is great. I don't know what you're talking about there, Ben. My favorite Joker review. If you've never been in the ocean, then a swimming pool seems deep. Yeah. I get you there. I get the attitude. Don't think about it if you have to, because you can't understand it. Yeah. Think about that. Think about it. The Doc, OP Slash says. The two-time. Nicely done. You heard it here live, folks. Josh doesn't think. That's why he is wrong about Pattinson and was wrong about Joker. Oh, man. Look, what's up with these typos today? You know, I can reread that for you, though. Ledger, Phoenix. I mean, I prefer Ledger's dilly-dally, you know? Look, to me, I think one of the reasons that I can, like, totally get down with Joker, and by the way, I actually explained this when I talked about Joker back in the day. One of the problems with Joker is there was no mainline canon. There was no mainline thing. So having the Joker come out and be successful and be completely disconnected from your universe is problematic because you don't have a universe. You're going to confuse the living F out of people. But here's the deal. Now, it looks like they've got some plans. And by the way, while we're talking about Jokers, I am really interested to see if Leto's Joker or Leto's Joker, how do you pronounce that? Is that Leto or Leto? Nah, it doesn't matter. I'm really interested in seeing that performance, like the actual performance. Like David Ayer and Leto have said that performance majority was ripped out of that movie. Now, I'm not a fan of the Leto Joker. Like, I'm not. Like, it's too weird. But could that change with the context of a story that's actually in there? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm hoping we do get the Ayer cut, and I'm hoping we do get to see Leto's full performance and what they were going to do with that character. It's completely possible that it changes the context. Yeah, I know Tara's like really against Leto Joker, but I mean, look, here's the thing, Tara. We don't know. You have to be open to the possibility that the performance will change your mind. And if you're not open to that, then you're closed-minded, which I know nothing about, by the way. Nicholson Joker? Yeah, Nicholson Joker. Good. Nicholson Joker. Good. Josh, is it weird playing the Joker has netted 2 Oscars, but Batman still has 0? Is that weird? I don't think so. Tara closed-minded? L-O freaking L. Yeah, I know. Look, we don't have to get on Tara's case too bad, but let's make a new stream where we just shit on Tara. That would be nice, huh? From those little scenes he had was enough. You don't want no beef. Joker not saying that shit, LOL. They tried to make Joker act like he was from the hood. Yeah, but that's an important distinction there, June, is who is they? You know what I'm saying? Because you said they tried to make Joker act like he was from the hood. Who is they? Who is they? Is it John Byrne? Is it Jeff Johns? Is it Diane Nelson? You know what I'm saying? You feel me, dog? Godfather says Illuminati. Terrace Cat stream. Joker is from the hood. I've seen him like 3 times, says Captain Pennsylvania. Nice. Moonlit Trev says the writers. But is it, though? That's the question. That's what I'm asking. I don't know. Because Batman being the good guy doesn't get the thought-provoking look that the Joker does. I think that's an interesting point. Maybe. I do think it's possible to... By the way, let me just say this right now. If somehow, some way, Pattinson wins an Oscar for his performance as Bruce Wayne and Batman, do you have any idea how bad that would be for me? Do you guys have any idea how rough that would be for me? I mean, let's not get it twisted. It's really all about me. So if that happens, I will be devastated, dude. I will be devastated. The Kidry says, shave the face. Nah. You'll never live it down. You would be eating Big Crow. Yeah, man. I'd be getting the supersized crow. Better question. Does this make DC look bad compared to the MCU? Because you never hear Feige talking about re-releasing director's cuts. Yeah, Dark World wasn't good, but we don't ask for patty cut. Does this make DC look bad? Okay, look. It really depends. This is what I find so interesting about this, is that everybody's defining these things a little bit differently. Like, it certainly makes some people at DC look bad. The question is, who are you talking about? Because it's like, I get kind of like frustrated with this idea here. It's like, it's just DC. It's just this thing. It's DC. It is what it is. And that's them. And that's who they are. No, it makes Diane Nelson look bad. It makes Jeff Johns look bad. It makes Kevin Tsuchihara look bad. It frankly makes Warner Brothers look bad way more than it makes DC look bad. If anything, The fact of the matter is, the DCEU in that universe was hit with some of the most grotesque and invasive studio interference that we might have ever seen in the history of Hollywood. And so it actually does make a certain portion of DC look bad, but those people ain't there anymore. Do you feel me? So it's a lot like the Ike Perlmutter thing. Okay? Ike Perlmutter said and did some horrible stuff. But when you think back, it's like, do you think that, like, of Marvel looking bad because of the things he said and did, or do you just think of Ike Perlmutter? You know what I mean? So, no, I don't think it makes DC look bad. But that's just my way of seeing it. You know what I mean? Yo, Shang-Chi is going to be dope AF for sure. Whoa, 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 whoa. Danny Orange, what are you talking about, brother? Explain yourself. Who cares? It was interfered with because it was bad to start. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, dude? They tried to make it something fans would like, but it was unsavable. Look, man, here's the deal. Let me break it down. Let me break it down to you like this. Let me break it down to you like this. So, and this is actually something that, like, nobody's ever really bothered to bring up to me in, like, an interesting way, okay? But they're saying, like, you know, this is the attitude. The attitude is these movies were already divisive and people didn't really like them, and that's fair. I think that, look, even Man of Steel was controversial. You know what I mean? Like, Man of Steel was controversial. There's some dark stuff in there, and then Batman, or rather Superman snapping Zod's neck, super controversial, okay? And of course, people feel differently about that. People are allowed to feel differently about that. It's all good. When they made Batman v Superman, also pretty controversial. You know, pretty controversial. And it's just super clear if you look at the extended cut versus the theatrical cut that there was a lot of context stripped away from that movie. Now, I ultimately think even the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman is not a great look. It's not a great look. Okay? But, like, I really get that sort of comparison to the second phase of Marvel. In phase 2 of the MCU, there was a big dip. Like, people don't like to necessarily remember this or talk about this, but there was a big dip. Like Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Thor 2, some rough stuff in there. You know? Potential to go a bad way. I would say BVS and Thor the Dark World are pretty much equivalent in quality. Pretty much equivalent in quality. Meaning, like, there's definitely stuff that's whack. If you're a big fan of Thor, you probably were like, nah, Thor 2's aight. If you really weren't, you're probably like, whoa, that was not that good. Okay? But the big thing for me, like, one of the differences here is that the MCU was given the time to adjust, and Feige learned some lessons in phase 2, and phase 3 is absolutely phenomenal. You know what I mean? He was given the time to do that. Now, obviously, Avengers in phase 1 was so monumentally successful that he sort of had leverage to be like, I really am going to keep doing my thing, and luckily that all happened. But Man of Steel made more money than any phase 1 Marvel movie. Do you know what I mean? So it's just kind of weird that Zack doesn't get the chance to tell his story. Now, my big thing is if you go all the way back to after Batman v Superman, and I've talked about this like ad nauseum, but if you go all the way back to Batman v Superman, after that movie came out and then heading towards Justice League, they should have decided right then and there, are we going with this dude's vision or not? And what they decided to do was like a mixed bag, right? So as studio interference came in, they butchered a lot of things, making the problem worse. What I'm saying to you is this. You either stick with your universe, you stick with creative vision, you stick with it, or you change it up. You can't like try to do both. So like after Jeff Johns gets promoted in 2016 and after the fallout of BVS, this dude came in and didn't just interfere with movies, but did some of the most heinous, ridiculous, intrusive meddling we've ever seen in the Hollywood system. He got a trailer company to come in and rework David Ayer's Suicide Squad movie. A trailer company? A trailer company. Oh, okay. You know, I just watched Wonder Woman again last night. Phenomenal movie. Phenomenal movie. Apparently, Jeff Johns and Diane Nelson and John Byrne wanted to take out the No Man's Land sequence. They didn't like how dark the movie was. They didn't like how gritty that sequence was and all of that. And they compromised that film. The story goes that Zack and Patty Jenkins fought really hard to keep the integrity of Wonder Woman the way they wanted to tell that story, but they compromised on the third act. Well, if you look at that movie, what's the issue? The issue is the third act. Jeff Johns went behind Zack Snyder's back, and despite a lot of people at Warner Brothers liking Zack's cut of Justice League and what he had turned in, Jeff Johns convinced the studio that having the guy that directed Avengers would be so valuable and so good that it was worth taking Zack off the movie. And then they used a family tragedy to cover it all up. It's pretty horrible. It's pretty horrible. So, you know, you say, hey, they interfered with it because it was already not good. That's subjective opinion. That's your opinion. I can't change the way you feel about this stuff, nor would I really want to. But what you can't deny is that Jeff Johns and a bunch of people at Warner Brothers came in and fucked everything up. They did. They destroyed it. Scrapping it entirely would have been a much better decision than what they did. Yeah, Danny, I can agree with you there. Scrapping it entirely would have been a much better decision than what they did. And I'm actually glad that they, like, it's so weird because now it's like in the context of what's going on now, it's like, well, maybe it's good that they didn't do all that because now we get it. Now we're going to get the Snyder Cut. Now we're going to get things probably put back together, set up correctly for the future. I think that's awesome. But yeah, had they scrapped it completely, that would have been a much better move. Much better move. Damn, a trailer company? Yup. Josh, now that you do community streams 2 times a month, will you still do those on Saturdays in the future? Yeah, I want to do them on Saturdays for sure. I do. Yep. I thought about doing this week's on Saturday. But I'm kind of feeling it tonight. I don't know. What do you guys think? Iron Man 2 is pretty much the same character arc from Iron Man. It's like he didn't learn anything. The introduction of Black Widow sways a lot of votes, but I can't look past the lazy plot. Yeah, it's a super lazy plot. Super lazy plot. Dave says, not tonight. Tara says, we are free tonight. Yeah. It's interesting stuff, man. That's the thing, though. The MCU did get that chance. Like, people forget that, Phase 2 took that big dip in quality. It was given a chance to readjust itself. I mean, we have no idea how good the DCEU could be, even now, had the studio not interfered, right? And you know what else, too? I really think that the Snyder Cut, the new one that we're going to get, is going to be way better than even the Snyder Cut would have been back then had everything just happened. Like, I think that, first of all, I love the format. If they're going to do the episode things, like, I'm into it. Like, that's really cool, and we get more time with all these characters. But it's like, beyond even that, I think Zach has grown as a person, as a human being. I think he's had a lot of time to think about that story. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a pretty incredible product. Best thing I've seen this week, Thor and Cars 1 are essentially the same movie. I saw that too. I saw that as well. And they get way more views for HBO Max. Mm-hmm. Ant-Man and Winter Soldier were Phase 2 too, right? And Age of Ultron wasn't that bad. Yeah, Ant-Man's a good film. Winter Soldier is still, in my opinion, the best complete film. Well, to me, it's Infinity War and Winter Soldier. Almost tied for number one slot in the MCU. Those movies are incredible. Winter Soldier is such a tight film. It's kind of ridiculous. And I'll tell you this, I think that Age of Ultron is way better than people give it credit for, and you should go back and rewatch it. It's really, really good. You know what I mean? So yeah, look, I'm not saying Phase 2 was terrible. I mean, that's Danny's take. That's some people's take, and that's fine. I don't think it was terrible, but I think it certainly dipped in quality and was given time. We gave it time. Nobody, freaked the F out. You know what I mean? I guess what I'm saying is, imagine how... And I do think, DC did some really weird stuff in the way they wanted to do it. They just wanted to go, big event films right off the gate and all that. It's really interesting. But imagine had we actually gotten Justice League the way that Zack wanted. Imagine if we actually got David Ayer's Suicide Squad that actually tied in to Batman v Superman and to Justice League better. You know what I mean? Imagine if we got Wonder Woman completely untinkered with and was the way that it was. You know what I mean? I just feel as though they could have sort of found their rhythm and got to the place they were trying to get to, you know? I thought you said, yeah, maybe it was someone else. I thought you said that, yeah. One step too far. I hear you, man. Thanks for that. Hit us up on Twitter if you can, man. I don't know how to reach out to you based on your YouTube name. You know what I mean? So if you want to hit us up on social media or send me an email at thedenofnerds@gmail.com. That would be cool. Cool. Sounds good, man. Civil War was great. I liked Civil War a lot. Camp, Pennsylvania, you don't like Thor Ragnarok? Holy crap. Holy crap. Ragnarok's real good, man. You crazy. Tara, we know you hated it. We know. We get it. You don't like Taika. I don't like Taika. We get it. So when do you think we will hear anything about the supposed Green Lantern show? That's a good question, dude. That's a really good question. I don't know. That is a really good question. I'm really excited about that show, but I gotta be honest with you. Just from all the so we did that research. We did that video on Friday, and I just researched a lot about it. And look, it sucks, but it's just looks to be true. Jeff Johns is pretty guilty of really screwing stuff up. Okay, so I'm just gonna be honest with you. I went from being incredibly excited about Jeff Johns being involved with the Green Lantern show to get him the hell away from that Green Lantern show. So that's where I'm at. Hey, thanks for joining the Patreon. Real cool. Dave losing points over here. You know what? And this is kind of like a little side track here, but you know what would be cool? And maybe you guys already had this idea, but maybe for Den of Nerds After Dark, you guys should do it in a point system. Maybe that would be cool. You know what I mean? Like, but the points don't matter, kind of like Whose Line? Jeff also wrote some of the best episodes of Smallville. It's an interesting situation with Jeff because he clearly gets DC characters. Okay, he clearly gets them. He's literally one of the best comic book writers ever, dude. Ever. His Green Lantern shit, epic. Like, I love Johns' work. But it's just the thing that, like, he doesn't have the skill set to actually come in and create something compelling on the screen that matches up with the vision of the characters from the comic books. And I think that's really where his big hang-up was, where he was like, hey, man, Superman doesn't kill. Hey, man, Batman doesn't kill. Which, by the way, I completely agree with. I prefer the Boy Scout. I prefer the noble Batman. I prefer the characters from the comics, the ideals that they stand for. I prefer that. I think Zach's vision was going to get there in a postmodern sort of way. I think now it's going to be super accelerated. Like, we're going to get to brand safe soup and bats, real quick. But the deal is this, like, Jeff, he went behind people's back. He went super conniving. He went, look, I've heard a lot of people talk about Jeff Johns and what he is doing in Hollywood, what he wants to do with DC in the future of all that. I think he just went about it the wrong way. DC or Marvel? Why not both? Why not both? Punisher's next? Oh, nice. I like that Punisher show. Josh prefers Boy Scouts. Hot take of the day. What if India made Marvel? I don't necessarily understand that question, but I'm into it. Like, what are you talking about? Just in general? Or are you talking about like a Bollywood version of the Avengers? I'm there for it. Josh, I'm just confused why you would choose not to look forward to the Batman instead of holding out hope. It's honestly a little disappointing. But if the signs truly look bad to you, yeah. So let me speak to that a second. So my concern with the Batman, And to be honest with you, I'm a little less concerned just because I do think we will get a lot more Batman all over the place. I think we're going to get Batman in the CW shows. I think we're going to get Ben Affleck Batman. I do. I really do. I know people think that's crazy, impossible, and ridiculous. I think we do. But here's the thing about the Batman. The comments I've seen from Matt Reeves, the reveal of the costume, the reveal of the Batmobile, and all of the things that I hear about the film from behind the scenes, combined with the attitude of Pattinson, it literally all of it feels like it's lining up an evidence for a hypothesis I have about the film that's concerning to me. And that is that they're going to do a postmodern take on Batman, that they're trying to ultra ground, ultra gritty, do Batman the same old shit we've seen all the time. It's like Matt Reeves is doing his version of the Christopher Nolan Batman. He's doing his version, and his feeling is, let's take it even more grounded, even more gritty, and do all of that. Dude, I'm so sick of that shit. Like, imagine if you had to watch Iron Man 1 over and over and over and over and over again, and we never got to Infinity War or Endgame. We can never get to Nanosuit, awesome ass-kicking bat god type stuff if we just keep telling the same old story. Like, I swear to God, if I see the Waynes get killed one more time on the silver screen, I'm gonna... It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I get the feeling that Matt Reeves' attitude about this is like very similar to Rian Johnson's attitude about The Last Jedi, where he's like, look, I want people to remember my name when it comes to Batman. Essentially, that a lot of these people are using Batman, using the IP, using the name to really push their own creative feelings or their own creative agenda. Batman, in my opinion, is way bigger than Matt Reeves, is way bigger than Robert Pattinson. Batman as a character is iconic and is way bigger than a lot of these people. And it gets frustrating to me because instead of what I think of as sort of the usual Hollywood thing, where they're like, okay, so here's this property, Batman. How can we make it completely unique to our own aesthetic and make our own take and do our own stamp on it? As opposed to, hey, what are some of the best stories that were ever told with this character? Maybe we can do a version of that in our movie. That's really where all of my feelings come from when it comes to the Batman. It's sort of a step back. It's another origin. You know, and everybody's like, don't you understand? He's only been Batman for 2 years. I do understand. I don't want to see a Batman that's only been Batman for 2 years. I've seen the origin story of Batman. I've seen all this stuff a million times. Oh, but he's only been Batman for 2 years. Don't you understand that? It's like, it's just starting out. It's just starting out. Not feeling it. But hey, look, you know what? It could be awesome. And I'm actually more comfortable with it the more Batman we're getting elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they bring Batfleck back and I'm like, I've got like some Batfleck stuff going on. I mean, the Snyder Cut itself is just going to be more Batfleck. Like, there's more. You're going to see Batfleck stuff that you haven't seen before. Guaranteed. In the Justice League. Like, that's just a fact. That's not debatable. You know what I mean? Josh doesn't want it. What are all of you crazy kids talking about? You know, I regret to inform everybody, guys, that Den of Nerds After Dark is officially canceled. You know, it was going to be a really cool idea, but unfortunately, I'm just going to cancel it. And for totally petty reasons, now it will never exist. So, you know, we had a good run. You know, had a good run, but, you know, that's what happens. Yo, is Trinity streaming? I gotta figure out, because I think Trinity's changing up his schedule. I gotta recall his schedule, but I don't think he's streaming all the time anymore. Trinity, are you in here? Kimberly Trotter says hi. Hello, Kimberly. Josh can't take the heat. Now we're going to take over the morning stream. Well, you know what, though? I would love... Oh, the link's up? There's a link up? Okay, cool. Well, you know, look, we can come by tonight, guys. Come by tonight in the community stream and tell me that shit to my face. Batman equals Sisyphus? That's an interesting take. I never seen that. Okay, cool. Now, look, we're talking majorly about Star Wars tonight on the community stream. But you guys, we can obviously talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So, like, you know, if you want to come at me for some Batman stuff, Battinson stuff, I'm good with that. Where's the link? Anybody got that link to Trinity Stream? Throw it in the chat if you would be so kind. Oh, okay, cool. I see. Okay, so he's going to... Should be any second now, right? The direct jacked you? What's that mean? They stole like one of your scoops or theories or something? Trinity? Is that what you're saying? What are you talking about, bro? We will find him! All right. Bada boom, bada bing. There is the link to Trinity Stream. It's not technically up yet, though, is it? Should be coming up any second now. I want a Batman in his early 30s who's been in the game for 10 years and fights supernatural villains. You're not alone. You know, despite like all of this, I do actually want the Batman to be a good movie. I do want it to be a good movie, but I'm just not going to ignore the signs. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right, guys, Trinity just started streaming. Get on over to 2nd Street Marble. I'll see you guys over there, okay? We're going to call it community stream tonight, 8 p.m. I'll see you guys there. We're talking about casting these new Star Wars characters and the future of Star Wars and maybe Pattinson. All right, everybody. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.